Okay, people. So, anyone but you, right? I check that out. Now, you might be thinking to yourselves, why? Why, Kevin? Why did you watch that film? Right? You hated after, was it After You? I think it was After You last week, right? That horrible Joey King, Zach Efron, Nicole Kidman film, right? Like, of late, these films have driven me mad. But one of my peoples, he was just like, yeah, it's good. It's good. So I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. Because like people were talking about it, saying that, oh yeah, this one's really good. This is the thing to say rom-coms. So yes, people, I checked it out. It's directed by Will Gluck, who also co-wrote the film with Ilana Wolpert. It is produced by Will Gluck, Jeff Kirkenbaum, and Joe Ruth. It is executive produced by Sydney Sweeney, Natalie Sellers, Mark O'Connor, Jacqueline Moneta, Sydney Kimmel, Charlie Corwin, Catherine Bishop, and Alicia Altman. Esty Haim and Christopher Strassi took care of the music. Danny Rumelman was on cinematography. Kim Bortis Briam and Tia Nolan edit the piece. While casting is Nikki Barrett, Kathleen Chopin, and John Ort. Stephen Jones Evans is production design. Art direction is Andrew Chan, Siobhan Lim, and Sandra Nuhumgusen. Rebecca Cohen is set decoration. Amelia Gebler is costume design. We got Ellie Mae Mansfield, Jenny Lee, Linda Arnson Luther, Michelle Sui, Anastasia Papas, Rachel Murphy, Jennifer Lumfrey, David Jennings, Cassie Hanlon, Leanne Carey, and Catalina Amparidis on hair and makeup. So our cast, who was in this film? Well, Sydney Sweeney is Beatrix Messina, aka B, right? Her sister is Hal, right? She is played by Hadley Robinson. Her dad is Leo, played by Dermot Mulroney. Her mother is Innie. Innie? Yeah. Anyway, played by Rachel Griffiths. And her ex, Jonathan, is played by Darren Barnett. Right. So then we have got Ben, played by Glen Powell. Ben's best friend is Pete, played by Gatta. Right. Who's a rapper, I believe. Now, Pete's sister is Claudia, right, who is played by Alexandra Shipp, and Claudia is marrying Faye's sister, Hal. You see the convolution here, right? So, Pete and Claudia's mum, Carol, is played by Michelle Hurd, right? Her dad, well, supposedly it's Claudia's dad and Pete's stepdad, right? But he's married to their mum, right? Roger is played by Brian Brown. Okay. Um, okay, so then there is Margaret, who is Ben's ex. She lives in Australia. She's played by Charlie Frazier. And Margaret's boyfriend, Beau. I mean, Beau and Bay, like, right. Anyway, Beau is played by Joe Davidson. Yeah, I think that is it, right? That's our main cast. The gist of the story is this: in the aftermath of a captivating first encounter, Bay and Ben discover that their initial fiery passion has inexplicably dwindled to frosty misunderstandings. However, fate intervenes, thrown together again at a dreamy Australian wedding. They opt for a charade of coupledom, but sparks reignite amid the sun-kissed scenery, forcing them to confront their true feelings and embrace a second chance at love. Mm, kind of, not fully, but I guess kind of. The thing with this is, right, it's it's funny because it says the story was created by Ilana Wolpert, but it's also basically based on um Much Ado About Nothing. Hmm. From Shakespeare. Uh, this film, it's I I mean, if you're a fan, right, of all the recent rom-coms that we have looked at, you will enjoy this film. I mean, that I feel that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear, right? If you enjoyed stuff like The Idea of You, No Hard Feelings, Upgraded, A Family Affair, right? You will like this, right? You will enjoy Anyone But You. I didn't. I didn't. Right? And I feel it's partly because it felt like it wasn't sure where it was going, right? And what I mean with that is, right, there's certain films that are I think very aware of what they're doing, right? Things like Massive Talent of the one with Nicolas Cage, right? That film, right? And there's things like that where they're kind of letting the audience know, look, this is over the top, this is craziness, but we know that. There's other films that kind of feel like a play, right? It is this real production. Then there's other things that are a bit more over, like not over, subtle. And I think in this one, no one is talking normally, right? Everything is just it's like a play, right? Like you're trying to project to someone. But the rest of it's filmed like it is, you know, a normal film. So there feels like there's this weird clash going on. Right now, if they had done it like I think it was Baz Luhrmann, right? Romeo and Juliet. I feel that was Baz Luhrmann. If it was like that, because that was, like very stylized, but it worked within the way it was all done, right? Even when you think about Much Ado About Nothing, right? With Denzel, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, Keanu Reeves, like that was crazy. That was great. Love that shit. But again, it's filmed in that way where the language works, right? Where because they're not talking, you know what I mean, like normal people talk, but it worked. It works. And but this one doesn't try for that. So everything feels a little jarring, you know? Especially you have these weird conversations where they're supposedly talking, so Ben and Bay overhear them. But anyone that hears it is just like, well, obviously we know what you're doing because you're talking in a weird fucking way. In a way, no, it's just like, Father, do you think I should? And you're just like, wait, what? What is what is happening here? Right? So it doesn't work. And for me anyway, right? That those kind of things just throw me out of the belief that this is, a situation that is actually happening. Right? That's what happens. You might not suffer from that, but that's what happens to me. It's like the scenario that supposedly, and we get an apology for it, but essentially, Beatrix, I'm gonna call her Beatrix, but Bay just is fucking stupid. Um, she eavesdrops on a conversation between Ben and Pete, right? But that conversation, it's like if someone is teasing you about someone, then I think most people try and play it off, right? Most people are like, what are you talking? No, don't be stupid. I didn't think that. Nah, I don't like them like that. This is a situation, which was pretty obvious. So the fact that we get this reaction is very bizarre, right? The whole thing about this supposed setup is very bizarre. But then when they meet up again, there's so I saw on Wikipedia it says it's 6 months later, but I don't know because in the film it seems very odd because at one point it sounds like it's 10 years later, right? But anyway, Beatrix is engaged now, right? Beatrix, so you're just like, wait, how much fucking time has passed? I don't know, but we get this weird time jump, and then it's just it was very odd. It's very odd. Like the whole plane thing, what was that? Because you can't do that on a plane, right? If you're in, you know, normal class, you can't just mosey into first class. Like, it's just these odd things going down, right? There's a bit at the end, right? Well, Michelle Hurd's character is like, honey, no one's 29. And you're just like, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? No one's 29. Like, what? Another thing, right? We had them in the water several times in Sydney Harbour. There are sharks in Sydney Harbour, right? There have been notable shark attacks and killings in Sydney Harbour, right? It's not a body of water that you just jump in willy nilly, right? For no fucking reason. It's insane that's a part of this story. That let's just jump in the water here, right? Because you get dum dums that watch these things and think, oh, I could do that, and then they get eaten by a shark. It's just like, what is this lunacy? What is this lunacy? I don't even know. I don't even know. And Natasha Bedingfield's song, right? I don't know what, I forget what it's called. You know, feel the pain on my lips. Do that one, right? It's a known song. Like Natasha Bedingfield is not a great singer, right? But that was a song that was, it was heavily pushed by the record label. You know what I mean? It got played. People know that song. So trying to act like, wait, how do people know my song? Like you, for that to be they needed to pick a lesser known song, and then that whole thing works better, right? But at the very end of the film, right, you know what I mean? Like, I think Marvel really got everyone on the end credit scenes, right? So now we've got this montage of people singing this song, but obviously it was created for that, because you have scenes that supposedly are happening earlier in the film, and you'd be like, but why would they be singing that song? Right? Like, the only reason they're singing that song is they're just like, oh, this will make a good montage. So, you know what I mean? We'll film and you just sing that song. So it all becomes a bit, what was the point of this? Right? Because it's not like, blooper reels and all of that were funny, because it seemed that, you know what I mean, people just lost it during a cut. Or someone just said, so like, everything's got, and then someone said something crazy. You know what I mean? And so they can be amusing, but more and more these things are so staged, so scripted. There's just like, what are we doing? What's the point in this shit, man? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, but as I said, right, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, but it will work, right, for people that are fans of your normal rom-com, right? So if you liked stuff like Purple Hearts, Set It Up, right? Upgraded, No Hard Feelings, The Idea of You, A Family Affair, Hotel of hey, was it the Hotel of Cats and Dogs? Right? The greatest hits. Just all of those films. If they are your thing, if you're just like, man, I love those stories, right? Mother of the Bride. Oh God, I hated that. But if they are your type of movie, they're so gravy, man. You know what I mean? You love the thing you love. There's no harm in that. But if you do enjoy them, then I definitely feel you will enjoy Anyone But You. Unfortunately, I didn't. It just wasn't made for me, and that's fine. That's fine. Because listen, the acting is, fine. There's nothing really wrong with the acting. Like, as I said, you have these weird moments with the delivery, right? But obviously, the cast have been told this is how we want these lines delivered, right? So I think it's more on the script that's bad, in my point of view, and the direction, right? And it's funny because Will Gluck, right? I have not enjoyed most of the things he's done, but one of his early films, Easy A, right? This was the second film he directed. Easy A is great. I really enjoyed that. He only directed it though. He didn't write it. Friends with Benefits, which he did write as well as direct, that wasn't good. But yeah, so I love EVA. You know what I mean? So this thing, so that's the other thing. You give some things a try because it's just like, well, I have liked things from this person, but this one, yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. That's fine, though, people. Right? You'll find Anyone But You on all your major VODs. I watched it on Now TV, but you can find it anywhere. Okay, so Anyone But You might be for you, just wasn't for me. So have fun, people. Have fun.